You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 136, and my name is Clark from 5 Card Guys on all your socials and on 5cardguys.com. Co-hosting with me, as usual, is Hyung of Integrity Sports Cards. John unfortunately couldn't make it again this week, but I think we got plenty to talk about in this episode, so it should be a fun hour or so of, fun hobby talk. So, off the top, I've been seeing a few social media posts on this, and it's regarding the LeBron James triple logoman card that sold for, if you remember, $2.4 million last year at a golden auction. It's also been featured on the Netflix show King of Collectibles, The Golden Touch. So you probably saw the card there as well. Now, CardLadder has something called the CardLadder value, which takes into account several factors. And what they do is they plug it into some formulas and they project current card values. All right. So for more precise details on how they come up with the CardLadder value, you could actually go to their website. It has a full explanation on it. I won't go
that's interesting.
It plays with their index a little bit, and it depends on the last sold, and they also have like a confidence level depending on the number of recent sales. So the confidence level on their CL value of this LeBron James triple logoman is pretty low because obviously it's a one of one and it hasn't been sold since the 2.4 million. Right. But that being said, they're estimating that card at 1.288 million, which is a lot less than the 2.4 million it sold for. So what do you think of this assessment? And if this card goes up on auction again, do you think it would sell for more or for less than the 1.28 million CardLadder value?
Wow. Loaded questions, Clark.
I like asking loaded questions.
I think one, LeBron has to be one of the most polarizing players, first and foremost. It's crazy how much you either love him or you absolutely hate him.
Right.
But there's no denying that, like, what he's accomplished and been able to accomplish even at the age of 38, 39, entering his 20th season, to not have a regression of his career stats, to actually improve on his numbers at the age of 38 is remarkable, right? Yes. So there's that. I'm just going to put that out there. Whether you like the guy or not, that's undeniable that he's putting up crazy numbers, that this guy is probably the closest to a non-human being, on this planet. He doesn't age, right? So there's that. There's the $2.4 million sales at the height of, the hype. I don't know if it was after the hype, but there was a lot of hype revolved around it, right? Yes. So it was obviously an inflated sale, especially with the previous histories of, comparables or whatever, they justified coming to that valuation in the first place. And CardLadder, you said, had it for half that, like 1.2.
Yep.
I personally think I would even go further and say the true value of that card is probably a third of that price.
Wow.
So I would even say $800K. Will it go that low? I don't think so. Because it's a one of one. Because that it's been featured on that show, the Netflix series, which gives it more marketability and, exclusiveness to the hype. You got the factors that, we talked about LeBron James, being who he is, whether you like him or not. The new hype of this whole idea of triple logoman, I think is a very big trend right now. So I think it's trending in a positive way though, based on the way Fanatics views the hobby and the future of Fanatics, and what we're going to see with other, one of ones and how valuable they become in part of the hobby. I think that there's a lot of upside, in that sense. Right. So, but I just don't, it's not $2.4 million. Definitely. I would say, I think somebody would take the chance at it between 1 and 1.5.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable, but I think they're overpaying.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, if you put it at 1 and 1, between 1 and 1.5, then seems like you're kind of could see the CardLadder value as being in that ballpark.
I mean, I just see in general, you're looking at a 50 to 70% retraction of peak values, and then you look at the supply demand, the marketability of certain things that provide a little more bump in value, that, won't see the full, 70, 80% retraction where it kind of floats around. Okay, what are people willing to, what do you think the bottom of this card? If you are a buyer, what's your bottom? And that's how it is. It's like, let's just say you had 100 buyers and we all gave a bottom, right? And we all bid on this. This is the bottom. Basically, the highest bid off that would basically win that card, right? So I would say, yeah, that's how I would come to my conclusion. I don't think somebody would drop 2, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that point for sure. I thought about this, and I think someone would think, well, a rich collector would think that it's at least worth $1 million card.
Right.
Right. So, and I think it would probably be around that level. I think the CardLadder value is not that far off because really the decreases, I think a lot of it's dependent on market conditions right now. Everything's going down. Right. Even the super high end, and especially the ones that were inflated in terms of value, like this card with the publicity and everything else, and so yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely not worth 2.4 million, but I could see someone wanting to buy that for 1 million.
I
easily.
Honestly, if I had the money, I think I would be a buyer at like 1.5. Because it's a one of one. It's marketed like crazy. It's like, even if you
everyone
just said,
knows this card. Yeah.
Everybody knows this card. And it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it did sell for 2.4, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you believe that LeBron left big enough legacy to, warrant that in the future, and you do the math in terms of where you see the hobby in 5 to 10 years, it might not be a bad investment, long term, even though, it is $1.5 million, and I would probably find 100 things better to spend $1 million on than, a triple logoman. But if I did have like 1.5, just, willing to spend on a card, it wouldn't be necessarily the worst investment, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. I got a question. How about if LeBron plays for one more team to play with his son? Does it devalue the 3 logomen, the 3 teams he's played on, because he's playing for a 4th hypothetical team?
Where do you think of these questions?
Just my brain.
I think it does. I think it does devalue his brand. I wouldn't be happy if he went to a different team and then I had a card that didn't have the 4th team. So will they make another
quad patch?
A quad patch? And at the end of the day, it's like, what happens to the value of the triple logoman, right?
Yeah. The quad patch would be hard to fit in one card though, so maybe the triple logoman is the max.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe booklet.
Yeah, that's another.
It's overrated, booklets, I think.
Right. And how are you gonna? We talked about this on a previous episode. How are you gonna showcase it and make it look nice? You know what I mean? That's a huge slab for a booklet.
It is a huge slab, but I think I would be able to present it in a nice way. It's more of a memorabilia than a card, I would say.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Well, you seen the baseball has it. They have like 24 autographs in one card, one booklet, and it's like the Hall of Fame. It's like, how do you display that? You need like probably a $50,000 display just to display that thing.
True. Well, I mean, whoever's in the market, if it ever goes back on sale, the triple logoman LeBron, something to consider. He might want to play with his son that 1 year, and it might be the Orlando Magic. And then what are you going to do?
Bye, Tyler Hero.
All right, interesting discussion. We'll see what happens in the future. All right, let's move on to hobby headlines. All right, I wanted to save this topic for our full Tuesday episode instead of doing it last Friday because it's a pretty big announcement, pretty big news in the hobby, I think. Of course, I'm referring to the recent announcement that Fanatics is acquiring PWCC. The financial terms of the deal were not publicly disclosed, but I wanted to get your initial thoughts on this new acquisition by Fanatics. Were you surprised at all? And I guess to give it a little more context, what I heard and why PWCC really wanted to sell quickly was they had that collateralized loan program, right?
Brutal. Backfired.
That backfired huge. Where I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on the details, but I guess they would keep your high-end cards and lend you money. And what happened? Yeah. What happened when the value of cards tanked? They're like, just keep my card.
Yeah, people defaulted.
Keep the money.
Yeah, they would use it as collateral because on a up market, you could. Like slabs are more valuable than cash. Right. So they would be more than happy to use that as security, loan you the money. But then, they were stuck. Turns. Yeah. Then nobody wants to, pay the loan back and they default on their loans. And now PWCC is stuck with a bunch of high end cards. So I think I think that backfired. I think it was short sighted. I hope that, Fanatics, they don't liquidate in that sense to make up for the loss because I don't think it's great for the hobby. I think, especially at their focus, because PWCC's focus is not like low to mid end, it's high end stuff, right? So you want to, especially from a Fanatic standpoint, you don't want to, necessarily make that look like a negative light in the lens of the hobby, right? So you want to protect the hobby the best as possible, especially with this huge, transaction of purchasing PWCC. Am I surprised? Not really. We said this. Like Fanatics is just okay. What's next? And as they check off the list, it's like, they went from acquiring. Topps. It's a freaking brand. They acquired a brand, like a card brand. And we said Panini obviously was in the mix. But, now they go PWCC with vaulting and, auction house and marketplace, which I think is a huge move for them. If it's a no-brainer if you're in that market. And you guys got to remember, like a lot of people I see they're saying, oh, monopolies are so bad for the market. And, I get it. Like, nobody even cell phones are the worst in Canada. Like just absolutely brutal. Rogers tell us like you don't want a monopoly when you're dealing with that. But in the sense of Fanatics, I think they're strategically going about this in a way that they're not going to, I don't think they will ever get into the grading aspect. But if I were Fanatics, Beckett would be the top of the list, just because of the state of, where Beckett is in their history with everything. But it seems like that's the way they're going anyways in terms of trying to be an all-in-one one-stop shop. And the way they project the industry is they see it as like a $200+ billion industry in the near future. So, they're valued at about $31 billion right now. So, the marketplace has a lot of potential in terms of what they're trying to do. And this is, I guess, the whole 10X model of kind of like the sports cards hobby. It's not necessarily just the way they're monetizing, currently, it includes their future, moves in terms of how they're going to use their current, customer base and resources to basically increase, sideways, right? Any business owner would do the same. So I'm not surprised, especially if Fanatics has that type of money. It's inevitable that they do it, and they're not going to stop. If you think they're going to stop, and that's why I don't get it. It's like people like hate on this. It's like, you know what? As long as the hobby serves as a better solution to the problems that the hobbies have, I'm all for it because somebody has to do it. The difference between Fanatics doing it or, Jim from Arkansas trying to do it. I'm going to bet my money on Fanatics. Their resources is a lot better than, Jim.
Yeah. I think it's so early in the process still, and the goal of 10xing the market is still very much in play. That's the goal still. We haven't reached that point yet.
Not even
so
close
all
yet.
of this, not even close. And so like all of this is, I think I'm with you. It's good for the hobby to grow the hobby to a certain point. And once the hobby starts to really grow with all this investment, especially by Fanatics, I hope that there will be other competitors coming into the space because they see how lucrative this marketplace is. And we already have some smaller players. Maybe they're not as big as Fanatics. We got Arena Club with their vaulting service.
Right.
I know they're starting up. Golden has their own vaulting service, and PSA has their vaulting service. So there are legitimate alternatives. And, as the hobby grows, I hope Golden and PSA and all those other companies also grow and try to compete against each other. So, it seems like a monopoly more than it probably actually is right now because they're just acquiring everyone and buying everything. But
Do you believe that it was strategic in Fanatics' part because they basically piggybacked on the timing of kind of like the Golden Heritage, Netflix series and the hype of the marketing, to kind of like just capitalize on that a bit, just the timing of it, right? Because if you took away that Netflix show, the hobby would have been kind of on a downturn, I would say, there's definitely less hype. But because of these shows, there's somewhat of a bear market rally, I would say. So it's like a good time to kind of like, hey, you know what? With this news, with all the eyes on the brand, let's make the move with PWCC while we have, the whole Golden Heritage auctions, in light of, millions of viewers right now. Is this a strategy? It could be,
Maybe it might have, without being privy, of course, to the bargaining and the discussion and acquiring PWCC. It could have been months. It could have been, a year, but maybe the timing of it just worked out really well in terms of the release of the Netflix. So, I kind of believe Michael Rubin in the sense where he seems to be in it for the long haul. So I think it was strategic only really in the sense that PWCC needed help.
Right.
And this is their chance to get it at a good price. And I heard that, PSA was also bidding for it. You know what I mean? Like there are other companies trying to acquire PWCC. So it was competitive already. And Fanatics, I guess, had the bigger wallet in this case to buy them out. So, it's interesting to see this development and definitely not a surprise. And you kind of answered this question that I was thinking about next, but what do you think would be next for Fanatics if they're still looking to acquire another company? Beckett, I guess you mentioned that.
I think they would be kind of like the front runners at this point, right? Like I just don't see value in any other grading brands like PSA. Obviously, I don't think it will ever be available at that point, and SGC is doing their own thing as well. So I think Beckett makes the most sense. They are hurting. They need, some more brand presence in terms of, being able to provide authenticity and, a reputable grading service that allows the end consumer to grade their cards hassle-free. So if they're getting into like live breaks, and you guys got to remember, Fanatics is not just hitting up the collectibles and memorabilia market. Like they just purchased that sports betting company for 150 million as well. So they're working full force on other things of business that creates enormous amounts of cash flow and revenue, and they're being creative in the way they're doing it, and they're acquiring these businesses in a way that can really complement their resources that they have that could make them potentially more profitable. So like to me, from a business sense, it makes sense. Like everything they're doing, it's a no-brainer. They're going to keep on going, and it should be all strategic in terms of their bigger picture and vision of what they're trying to accomplish as a brand. So I think it's just a matter of time that you're going to remember Topps was just purchased, a few months back. And that was a big thing. And then now it's PWCC, and then they ain't going to stop. They're valued at $31 billion. They're acquiring these companies for
Wow,
150 million, and they see the market go up to $220 billion in the future. So they obviously know things that we don't know. So for me, it's like, it's their time to kind of like shine and see if they have the loyal fan base of their business moves of what they do, right? At the end of the day, they're going to have to prove that they're going to make the hobby better. And that's what I'm excited about most out of all this, is the hobby needs to get better. It's so unorganized. There's a lot of things that need fixing. So it's either you or me, Clark, that we're tackling these problems, which I don't want to do, or a company like Fanatics.
Right. With the resources. Yeah,
right.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I thought of that first as well in terms of what would they need next. And obviously they don't have in-house grading, and Beckett is there. Even SGC might be in play,
right?
To compete with PSA. But I was also thinking like some kind of events organizing company.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
card shows?
Something like that, where they could just like, so how about competing against the national?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
or make your own national.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? So like they might find a company that could just organize not just big shows, but little shows across the country.
For sure. Absolutely.
Across North America.
And they would bring so much more value, because they have so many different ways to make it more creative and, special.
Yeah. And to your point, it's really about the overall fan experience that Fanatics seems to be going for, like a holistic experience from, everything from the hobby and what it entails, and sports betting, it's being a close cousin of the hobby,
right.
In terms of investing and just catering to that crowd. So I think that's a legitimate play for them as well. What's interesting, I was seeing Rick Probstein, his Instagram, and he asked this same question about, what do you think Fanatics will acquire next? And his guess, or, just something that came to his mind, was that he could acquire Sports Card Investor as a media play.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
As a mouthpiece to the hobby. And
right.
I thought that was interesting.
Right. I could see that, but more of maybe... I don't think something like that would be acquired as a company, because I don't know if there's remotely value in sportscardinvestor.com as opposed to the influencer side of kind of like Jeff Wilson.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So if I'm Fanatics, it's not necessarily I'm purchasing Sports Card Investor. I want to partner up with these influencers and give them, a partnership or a type of a business deal that allows them to work together, where it doesn't necessarily acquire ownership of certain companies. I just say that just because the marketing side of things are so important in anything, whether it's sports card, real estate, any market you're in. Nowadays, if you're not present in social media, you're not present, period. Right? So there's
For
that.
Sure.
Right. So it's just, I just feel like they could acquire, that marketing lens for a lot cheaper through strategic partnerships, through smaller influencers that actually, could make an impact and not necessarily blow the bank to purchase and acquire a company like that. But I think that definitely can be a play in terms of their strategy moving forward. I just wouldn't, if I were them, I just wouldn't buy a company like Sports Card Investor. I would partner up with them. Yeah.
True. But I feel like the trend these days for big companies
just buy everybody.
To be their own. Just buy everybody. But in terms of like, this too with what you're doing for your businesses, and same with me. It's all about being your own media company.
Absolutely,
right?
100%.
To get your message out there and to always be in the forefront by social media and websites and everything that can get your name out there.
For sure. And, absolutely 100%. What you just said is the formula. You have to be a media company, like, period. It's like,
right.
the business strategy, if whatever you do, whether it's sports cards, whether it's, you own a business, nowadays, if you don't get media attention, you're non-existent. And it's all about converting, those views or those interactions that you're having with a targeted audience. So if Fanatics is releasing something to 1 million people, and those 1 million people basically all have the same like joy of collecting and cards, like you have a very targeted 1 million views, and that's worth a lot of money, because there's a common thing that you could convert in terms of selling, right? And when it goes back to a media company, it's all about the attention that you're grabbing from the market share of attention, essentially, right? So yeah, it definitely makes sense in terms of getting more, because I don't think Fanatics goes crazy. But if I had Fanatics' budget, man, honestly, Fanatics, hit me up, man. Like, you don't even have to have any ownership. It's like, let's just do something crazy. Like, if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars of budgets to market yourself, it's like, come on.
I was going to say, that's why I could see them going with sports card. I could see Probstein's point about going with sports card investor, because he does provide a lot of content. You can't deny him that, right?
I go with Scotty B Cards.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I was going to say, like, if you want Michael Rubin, if you want to partner or to like really work with a reputable, well-researched podcast with a couple of thousand subscribers, very loyal fans, fanatics, I would say, to the the content that is put out into the hobby. Just contact us at Cards to the Moon.
Cards to the Moon, 5 card guys, and we'll even throw in a package of Scotty B cards. With special appearance of
sure.
Scotty B.
He's a good friend of ours, yeah, for sure. So we'll wait for that call. All right, I thought it was a good discussion. It's always interesting. Like, at this point, I'm never surprised to hear from Fanatics and what they're doing, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from Fanatics again as this hobby continues to roll along and hopefully grow in the next few to several years. Okay, let's go to our next segment, and it's a new one, and we're calling this Would You Rather? Okay, this is kind of a variation of our Pick One weekly segment that we're going to do right after this one, but this is more general hobby topics, all right? Not like this card or that card, but, just kind of bigger picture ideas. And I thought it would be fun to try this segment out, all right? So
sounds good.
The listeners will kind of get the idea once we go through some of these examples. So first one, would you rather invest in pitchers or catchers?
Oof. Hold up.
Pitchers or catchers?
Hold up. I'm just going to pull up Hall of Fame catchers. Catchers first.
Wow. Off the top of my head, I can't even...
Johnny Bench, obviously Yogi Berra, Carlton Fisk. But like that, the list kind of disappears after that. It's like, what? I never knew, some of these players existed, and I'm around baseball, and that kind of like throws a loop. Let's take a look at Hall of Fame pitchers. There's going to be a lot more, obviously, names that sure. Right? So
Nolan.
Obviously, yeah. Your Nolan Ryan, your Gaylord Perry, your Bob Gibsons, your Cy Young, your Marianos, your Pedros and stuff like that. I gotta go pitchers, man. There's just so much more, out there in terms of what to invest in. So for me, it's gonna be pitchers for sure.
Okay, I think that was an easy one for me too. The only catch was, no pun intended, the catchers do have the batting stats, and if they're a power hitter, but at the same time, I was thinking of guys like Mike Piazza,
right?
And how's hobby love there?
How's his values doing? How's Joe Mauer's value doing? Most underrated, one of the most underrated catchers in the game.
Buster Posey,
that guy's legit. So you don't really get the love that the catchers do, but
And, the way catchers play now, they play 75% of the season, right? So even harder to get your stats.
Here's a question for you. Do you think Adley Rutschman holds value as a catcher, or would he have more value as a position player and as a pure hitter for longevity? So, for instance, Joe Mauer, the Joe Mauer story. So, I played against Joe Mauer, most incredible baseball player. He played on Team USA. He was in the era of Justin Morneau, too. So, Justin Morneau was very good buddies with Joe Mauer, probably one of the best buddies.
Right.
And Justin Morneau actually was a catcher in high school.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
He actually got booted because of Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer was the best catcher. Justin moved to first base, right? So people don't view Justin as a catcher, right?
No,
Morneau as a catcher. He was known as a hitter. So I think longevity-wise, it did more harm to Joe Mauer that he was an all-time catcher as opposed to someone like Justin Morneau, who was known for an offensive type player first rather than a defensive catcher, right?
Very true.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
So I think you answer your own question. Definitely will have more value if they move to a positional position. Yeah, like first base. And I think Mauer moved to first base in the last couple
he was
seasons
older.
of his career,
That made sense.
to play an extra couple of years. All right, so we're investing in pitchers, both of us. Okay, next. Would you rather have a Shohei pitching card or Shohei batting card?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, this is something I battle every day. Man. So from what I've seen, Shohei's batting was the hot item in the last couple of years. Okay. So his hitting image. So we're talking Topps update, his hitting rookie debut. Even now, that thing sells that's not worth that much money. It shouldn't be selling for that much, but it sells, right? But to me, if we broke it down to, if you had one choice to buy his Bowman Chrome, I guess it would be his rookie auto, not necessarily his first auto, because he has two rookie autos, one from Bowman, 2018 Bowman, and one from 2018 Bowman Chrome. 2018 Bowman was his pitching, right? So that was actually a tougher pull. And then you have his 2018 Bowman Chrome hitting image.
Right.
So for me, as a hobbyist, the pitching was always the sought after one. Always. Right? So I always had that assumption that I would always want his pitching. Right?
Okay.
But then the market changed in terms of his base card because all his Topps cards are pitching. Right? So with that said, I believe that his Bowman card to have is his pitching card. Yeah. So based off that, I would say autos, pitching. Non-autos, hitting.
Okay, that's kind of a workaround.
Makes
already
sense.
Bending the rules.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. But I am going with pitching for the first reason you mentioned. For me, when I think of his best card, it's the pitching, especially the autograph card. It's the pitching one, the one that the Superfractor, which sold for $184K, which is worth over $1 million now, right? So I will always want the pitching one for that reason. And
makes sense.
And usually it's not the case. I mean, I can't even say usually. There's only one player like Shohei.
There's only one player, yeah. Well, would you rather have a Babe Ruth hitting or pitching image?
Babe Ruth hitting.
Right. Because he was a hitter, but how rare is that pitching?
True.
Right?
Oh, man. It's blowing my mind right now thinking about the choices. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is a little bit easier, I think. Would you rather buy one Aaron Rodgers high-end rookie card or buy 3 Trevor Lawrence high-end rookie cards?
Oh, shoot. What the heck? Okay, that's...
Is it easier? I thought it was easier.
No, that's...
Well, man, for you, I thought it might be
Trevor
more
Lawrence.
difficult. For me, I think it's...
So, one, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, huge hype with release, with who he is, the season he had last year.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the season wasn't, incredible.
Yeah.
To be honest. But...
True.
I think he's in a kind of like make or break year, so for me, normally I would say I like the short-term play on Trevor Lawrence. But in
Yeah.
this case, I'm a little scared because he came with a huge hype. And I think regardless of what he does, can he maintain that hype? Right? He would have to, lead Jacksonville to the playoffs. He would have to do things as a 21, 22-year-old, young quarterback and be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't do that, I don't think his prices move. I think it goes south pretty quick. Right? So for me, Aaron Rodgers high end is the right play, long term. If you're willing to risk to make a little bit more profit so you could buy a better Aaron Rodgers, then I might be interested in that. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the play in my opinion. The volatility, I don't like it on a bear market. On a bull run, point. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's buy everything. Volatility is my best friend. Did I change your mind?
No, I'll buy one Aaron Rodgers high-end rookie all day.
Okay.
I think you know what? But I think it's to your point. Like, we're in this bear market. That's my mentality right now. Like, That's what I'm trying to do. I'm liquidating all my cards right now, 100%. Even at a loss, to try to get one really good grail card.
And that's a good point. Like, people don't understand. You look at any markets, if you're into real estate, if you're into stocks, crypto, there's going to be bear market rallies. And we see it all the time in sports because the fundamentals of sports is every day. It's a daily thing that happens. So Ronald Acuna wins MVP, you're going to have bear market rallies on his card, but the whole market is down in general, right? So these are things that you got to be really careful about, especially in sports cards, because it's not a, regulated market where, sports cards, anything can happen. There could be shilling. There could be, shady businesses that you don't understand that there's other influences that play into it. So yeah, it's a little scary on a bear market, but I've learned my lessons through other markets on how markets react. So right now, during any recession, this is why whether you're in business or any type of, hobby, the people that get shaken off on a recession are people that aren't in it for the original intention. So if you're a collector for the sake of collecting, you're going to do well in a recession. If you're a flipper in a trendy market like how the sports card market was, you're going to be very unsuccessful in terms of short-term play, right? So that's, I think, important to break down and see kind of like the overall picture of the picture where you are. And usually during recessions, it's great buying opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the people that, even the companies, the businesses that stay true to themselves and why they exist in the first place, they're the ones who stick around. They're the ones who do really well in the next cycle, right? Of economic cycles. And I think that's something to kind of note as a hobbyist or wherever you are as a collector.
Agreed. Even before we recorded the show, we're talking about like some of our auctions that we just had, and we lost a ton, right? Or like in terms of value.
Crazy.
But we're both reinvesting in it because we're looking to buy cards that used to be like these higher end cards that used to be $10,000 more, and Absolutely. We're saving a bunch on going back into those higher end cards. 100%. Right?
And it's no different than real estate market. If you think about it, like people just look at interest rates and make the decision based off interest rates. But if you're getting a good deal on the real estate, the interest rate doesn't really matter, right? And obviously it determines on kind of like your longevity and your end play of it. So there's a lot of determining factors that are kind of like parallel to even the real estate market with sports cards, right? So
True. Excellent point. All right. Glad we had that talk of macroeconomics and
I love it.
Investing. Yep. All right. Here's number 4. Would you rather have a true orange refractor or a red lava refractor of Ellie De La Cruz? And you know why I chose Ellie De La Cruz?
He's one of the hottest guys right now. And
also, this is an added factor. Cincinnati Reds, a little color match there.
Oh, the red. I'm not. You know what? There was a guy that been trying to sell that red lava, Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I know who it is. And he's been asking way too much for it. But, man, I'm going to actually go with the true orange.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, man. Like, red lava's...
Also numbered to 5.
It is numbered to 5. And don't get me wrong. Red lava is like a gorgeous card. Color match, Ellie De La Cruz. But, you know, it's so weird. Hobby Logic is so weird. It's just...
It's true.
It's just orange. Like, it's like I would even probably maybe take a true gold. You know?
Oh, wow. Okay.
It all depends on the pop count. So it's like, for me, if the orange refractor was, let's just say, it's out of 25 and it was a pop 10. And then the Ellie De La Cruz was a pop 3 and it's out of 5. I wouldn't mind the orange refractor. If it was a little higher, then that would probably be my deciding factor.
Because of the gem rate?
Because the gem rate, plus how many are available. Obviously, there's going to be more demand, I think, for true orange in terms of the true collector, and I'm assuming that it's a PSA 10 that, you know, you're probably going after at the end of the day. So, yeah, the right answer is red lava, but the Hobby Logic answer is orange refractor.
Okay, that's why I asked. Oh man, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to go with red lava. Yeah. It's just the color match, and it's just too much. And the number to 5, and it's one of those things. I'm not confident when I say it because I could see that I could get burned by it at the end of the day too.
Like,
but,
I don't think they should add parallels to those. You know?
Yeah, to the lower, especially
the reds. Like, you don't need you don't need any more reds. Make more like greens and above. You know what I mean? Go green wave, go green lava, go green Hulk or whatever. Like, do whatever you want to do with those colors, But red and orange, gold, keep limited.
So, super fractors?
Well, super fractors, You can't have multiple versions of 101.
Which they do, which is annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's stupid. Stupid Fanatics.
I hope people higher up are listening. This is truth we're talking. Okay, last one. Would you rather have a Silver Prizm rookie card or a base sticker auto rookie card?
What? What's a base sticker auto? Like
let's say a Luka Doncic Silver Prizm rookie card, okay? Right. And there's like a Sensational Signatures, which is kind of a base with a signature with a sticker auto.
Okay, a sticker auto.
It's his rookie card.
I thought you meant like a sticker, like like the European stickers.
Oh no!
With
not
the
sticker card. Sticker auto.
Sticker auto, or a Luka Silver, or like a silver.
Prism.
Not
Silver
even like a colored prism. You're not even getting me a numbered.
Nope.
No. Versus like a Sensational Signatures. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the sticker auto, man. I think autos in general are underrated. And I think there's going to be a point in time where that market's going to catch itself regardless. So, especially in basketball. I think you look at LeBron, for instance. I'm just saying it's not the same as Luka because obviously print runs are different. But over time, if you were to say, would you invest in a LeBron auto, even if it was sticker in 2003, right? Or would you have a refractor Bowman Chrome LeBron, right? So that's the way I'm looking at it. And although people crap on sticker autos, I'm going to say long run. I think even insert autos, even with Luka's, I think long term, there's going to be enough demand for it that, it holds its value as opposed to a pop 2000, Silver Prizm.
100%. We're on the same page. It's one of those Hobby Logic things. The auto, even if it's a sticker auto, there's a scarcity factor in itself. You know what I mean? Like he didn't sign unlimited sticker autos.
Right.
Yet the pricing and the value of sticker autos is kind of it's treated as such.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So especially with Silver Prizms, man, that was just a bad call for me. Like I got lured into the Silver Prizm and I'm like liquidating any Silver Prizms I have now. So I've learned my lesson.
I think the key takeaway to that though, Clark, is on a bull market, Silver Prizm is the way to go.
Yes.
On a what's it called?
The sticker autos.
No, on a frick.
Bear.
On a bear market, yeah. Like
Right.
definitely you want to avoid the silvers, the higher pop count.
I'm learning that lesson hard right now.
We all did it at one point, you know.
True. All right. Well, that was fun. Would you rather? We'll do another segment. I'll definitely have to do it with John. I'll try to think of equally difficult ones.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, some of the stuff is random. I wouldn't have thought of that, or even put the two together.
I might have asked ChatGPT for a couple of.
I love it.
That's
why we get along, man.
Questions. All right. Let's end off this show with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. All right, this is where we actually pick a couple cards or sets, and then we debate which one we would rather invest in. All right, so Hyung, do you want to start this one off?
So believe it or not, I didn't even prepare one, but I'm gonna give you one.
I'm ready.
Your inspiration inspired me of the last segment.
Okay,
it's would you rather. So would you rather? It was actually similar to kind of like your Trevor Lawrence one, but would you rather invest in one super high end card? So if we'll take Shohei Ohtani for instance, super high end, let's just say a $10,000 card, or would you invest in multiple lower end cards of Shohei Ohtani that potentially have more value? So would you rather invest in one big card or multiples of, let's just say, rare cards, but not super rare? So non-autos, maybe color parallels, PSA 10s, pop 20s, and you might get 4 Shohei Ohtanis compared to like a Bowman Chrome auto.
Gotcha. Man, when we're playing the Would You Rather segment, obviously, I'm inclined to get the one higher end.
Right.
But I think if it's the same player, it changes things a little bit because, especially with a guy like Shohei, someone I believe in, it might even just be a safer play to diversify. And if you're giving me the fact that they are lower end, but they're numbered, or there's still value in the lower end cards, I think I might be inclined to go with multiple.
Really?
In this case.
So let's Shohei might be a bad example. Let's say Vladdy.
Okay.
Shohei's a bad example. Yeah, Shohei. I think whatever you pick with Shohei, you're right.
Right. Yes. That's true. Okay, Vladdy's better. Oh man. I think I would go with the higher end.
With Vladdy or with other player other than Shohei?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think I would rather... At the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, like I would like the card, just like I would like the high end, the card to just have in my collection.
Right.
So, and I like the potential upside if they do well. The higher end cards might be much more valuable than even the 3 or 4 combined.
Right. But what happens if I'm throwing these circumstances, because the higher end stuff tends to be overpriced, right? So you see these deals like Shohei's actually a good example on this. So autos are overpriced. Some of his colored parallels are underpriced, in my opinion, when it comes to rarity and scarcity, but the demand's not there. Right. So there's kind of like that, I guess, that I was trying to go for, but not to change it. You said your answer, and I've battled with this my whole collecting career. It's like, man, because the train of thought is, okay, if I get, let's just say 4 nice Vladdies, maybe they're not his Bowman Chrome auto, maybe it's a combination of Topps Chrome blue refractor, and then you have a Bowman Chrome gold, and then you would be like, oh, when Vladdy's market goes, I'll sell this one, take the profit, but keep this one because it's more rare. That was the original line of thinking of the way like I used to do the hobby, honestly, it's so much work. Just having to sell stuff, and then I tried to do least amount of cards. That's my rule of thumb. Now that I'm in, I want as least amount of cards as possible, but the best cards.
Yes.
So I've changed my habit, especially on like a bear run, to kind of changing that to get good quality cards. Just like if you're in real estate, get good quality real estate. Don't buy the trend. Just get long-term, solid pieces that, will, hold value in the long run, and that's kind of like the way I position it. And I think of it now in terms of card collecting, and I enjoy it so much better, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of what, Brent, Deep Value Investor, once said, like he believes that the top cards the values will all accrue to the top anyways.
For sure.
So that's his play, trying to get the big
best,
cards.
the best card.
The best
possible.
cards. Of each
even
player.
If it's like a little bit of overpaying, you'll have more longevity with that card. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? Definitely the higher end card. That's where I'm going with. And I like the other bonus factor is, you get to flex with that one higher end card on your Instagram with your hobby friends. So
yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll finish off with my pick one. So this is kind of a variation of the Silver Prizm versus the base auto, but let's go with Nikola Jokic. Okay, so his Silver Prizm, 2015 Silver Prizm. The pop count for a PSA 10 is 141. So back then it wasn't as high, of course, as the Luka Doncic years. So his silver PSA 10 last sold for $3,500. All right. At its peak, it was $6,000 a couple of years ago. So it's not $3,500, and at its recent lows, it's like $1,800. Which was a few months ago. All right. So it's kind of dipped and then it's kind of rebounded, but not as high as the peak, obviously. All right. $3,500 for a Silver Prizm. Versus, he has a autograph, on-card autograph this time, Panini Select, and it's numbered to 199.
Okay.
$1,000 less, $2,500.
I gotta see this.
BGS,
card.
sorry, but BGS 9.5.
So Select, what's his face? Jokic. Auto out of 199.
Yep.
You're not even giving me a 99, or you give me 199. The worst.
Is it the worst? 199 is not bad.
The worst. Well, I mean,
Select rookie signatures, number to 199.
My heart is telling me the Select because it's on card auto. I'm not a huge fan of the Prizm, but the Prizm is rare enough where it should hold its value and be liquid. That liquid was a key word in a bull market, right? But
yes,
that's what concerns me still. Man, you said pop was what on the silver?
It was 141.
141, and this is out of 199. So, but this is an auto, and I think autos in general in basketball are underrated. And I think there's a lot of potential to grow. You see any historical cards, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, like anybody that was relevant to the game, their autos tend to do well regardless of the set. And Select isn't necessarily, I would say, a third, fourth set. It's a pretty decent set. Sure. Right? It's a respectable set. So I'm going to go with the Select Auto. I think it's just like Prizm's too boring for me. Like it's just too typical. I like I said, I really like that card on a bear or on a bull run, not on a bear run. I'm going to go with like more rare, more value for what it is. True value.
Okay. All right. You probably know my answer already. I'm done with Silver Prizms.
You got burned.
I'm out.
I get it.
So even with the lower pop run, I just feel like that Silver Prizms can still go down, you know, like even more so than where we are now, whether it's a lower or higher pop run. And to your point, at some point, these on-card autograph basketball cards have to, like, it just seems that some of these guys are it's pretty good value in my opinion.
Right.
And especially if they're going to be one of these top 5 generational talents.
Right.
So for me, it's easy. Save the $1,000, even if it's a BGS 9.5 min gem in this case. I'm still going with the Select Signatures auto. All right, that's another great episode of Cards to the Moon. We thank you for tuning in every Tuesday and every other Friday. And once again, we appreciate all your positive feedback that we've been getting lately, and we'd like to, share that feedback with our listeners, other listeners and subscribers, and even people that don't know about our show but follow us on Instagram at Cards to the Moon. You could get more content there as well, even on non-podcast publishing days. So follow us there as well. And we'll see you again next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.